We are recording. Yay. We've had some technical issues in this. It's not great recording, but that was a great podcast. Too bad we didn't record it. But now we are recording. So welcome everybody to this episode of Third and Too Long, another Jets podcast. And the regular group is here today. I am Vinny with my cousin Gene and my brother Dean. And we are, I think we've had a little time to recover from Monday Night Football, Jets, Dolphins, the race to the bottom, the race to see who's the worst team in the AFC. We'll get into that. We got a lot to talk about. This was a weird game. And, you know, I really went into a state of dark depression after the game. I was like really in the Jets' dark tailspin, and then I'm kind of out of it now. And I made the mistake I make every week, and I looked at the box score, which I have here in front of me, and again another week where you look at the box score and you think, not a bad game from the Jets, right? Justin Fields 20 for 27, 226 yards. One touchdown, seven runs for 81 yards and a touchdown. The Jets, where are my team stats here? The Jets, they win on first downs, dominated on total yards, 400 yards to 300 yards. They win on passing yards. They win on rushing yards. They win on yards per play. Jets punted twice to the Dolphins punting 4 times. 2 places where the Jets did not do well. Fumbles lost 3-0. And we got to get back. And I thought we were not going to have to do this season, but here we are. Penalties. 13 penalties for 101 yards.
Time of possession. Did they have time of possession?
Time of possession, dead even. I mean, within seconds.
So, like you said, if you look at that, you're going to go, like, watch nothing and go, all right. And you just block out the score. You go, this is a pretty tight game. The turnovers, or maybe the penalties. I don't know. You know, at some point, it would be nice for us to say, hey, the name of this podcast isn't appropriate anymore. But I don't think we're close. You know, third and long, totally, and 32 is totally appropriate. At someday will we ever see, you know, first and short.
We saw it in the first drive. That first drive, they came and they were taking care of business. Look, the Dolphins are a terrible football team. Let's be honest. Their coach is going to get fired in the next. He maybe bought another week because he rolled over the Jets.
He should be fired just for wearing those glasses. All right.
And the pants and the whatever those short pants are, the capri pants that he wears. Then the Jets came out and they were rolling and okay, he fumbles on the 2 and coughs up the ball. Okay, that's fine. The good team gets it back together, goes down and runs it down their throat again. But that did not happen.
No.
You know, what were your emotions during the game?
Well, you know, it was a terrible football game. It was, and that's exactly what I had feared, that it was just going to be, you know, a backyard slop football. And maybe that might have even been more entertaining. Now, at one point, I just had to leave and go walk the dog like twice around the block. Like I couldn't watch anymore, you know. And I don't know what happened. Like what happened to the team we saw against Pittsburgh that gave us so much hope, that was opening up huge holes for Breece Hall to run through, and everybody was happy. I mean, this was the most deflated, demoralized team I had ever seen. Like, nobody was even getting in anybody's face in the sideline. Nobody was questioning anything. They were all just lumps on a log, just They're
There.
they're just there. They don't know
Yeah.
what to do anymore at this point. It was a terrible football game all the way around. And the coach, the
Where's the
Miami
team that
coach,
was in that first drive?
Well, the first drive,
yeah,
Bruce Hall. I mean, yeah, I was excited. Look, they used him. He looked great. I'm like, okay, here we go. And then you can look for another positive. I mean, Garrett Wilson had some two incredible catches. They actually were touchdowns, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah,
And
they
that
really
that
were.
offense, that offensive stiff arm was, come on. I mean, that was pretty bush league.
Mhm.
I just thought that was a terrible call. I mean, you could see that prior to that, his jersey is being pulled. You know, it's like, all right, but still, give credit with, like, he had it. That second one, he's got arms in there, and he's like, that was a wrestling match. He came down 2 feet in. I'm like, that was good stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
he
right.
had a good game, and and Fields didn't have a bad game. But I mean, look, it's and I was going to complain about the officiating, and I will, which is that's what Jets fans do. Um, but you can't put the ball on the ground 3 times in the NFL and expect to win.
Hey, you
Yeah,
want another crazy stat?
Yeah,
The Jets have zero takeaways.
yeah, yeah. There was no pressure. There was no pressure on Tua
Out of
whatsoever.
4 games, they don't have any takeaways.
yeah.
They got none.
There, there's no pressure. There's no defense. There's no
I mean,
defense. Even Sauce Gardner looked lost to me.
Well, you sent that text, trade sauce. You know what? If he's not holding, he's getting burned.
Yeah. Well,
trade him for three other backfield guys, and let's rotate him in and out. At this point, the defense seems to work so hard. It's like we need two of every guy in the defense just so we can swap them out. So they don't. So they're ready to go for the next week.
yeah.
It's like,
Well, with
So, so what you're saying is a conditioning thing at that point. Are they just tired? Or when you swap them out, is it because they need a mental break or,
yeah, I
or
don't
a
know.
physical break?
yeah.
Shouldn't need conditioning at this point. This is a professional level football team. They've got, nutritionists. They know what to be eating. They know what they should be doing. But it's just the amount of effort that they're spending on the field, on defense, and the offense not offering them any justification. It's like they're always in the fight to try to keep the points down so the offense can just sputter along and try to get some more points. Give them a break, like give them a chance to actually let some players run around on them a little bit.
Well,
Give them
look,
just like
the time of
one.
possession was almost even. So it's like, for a lot of years when the Jets actually had a better defense, it was very like 40 minutes to 20 minutes. The Jets just couldn't stay on the field long enough to give the defense a break.
Yeah.
And this, the time of possession was even, but this defense, it's not existent. There's just nothing. There's nothing there. And again, this is the Dolphins. The Dolphins offensive line was manhandling them. And then how many times did the Dolphins run the same play that we used to run in the street when we played football in the backyard, the naked bootleg to the left? How many times did they run that, and how many times did the Jets fall for that? Well, I know the answer to the second one time. Jets fell for it every single time.
Yeah. Every time.
They were, and it's just like, come on, this is the National Football League. How many times are you going to fall for that? I think even the Dolphins couldn't believe how well that was working. Let's
Who
run
is
it
the
again.
Jets?
They were probably in the huddle. Gilly, run it again.
It was the same setup. You saw the same thing. I mean, I know football genius, but it's like, all right, they're gonna run the naked bootleg again, and it worked every time.
Yeah. Who's the
Oh,
defensive coordinator for the Jets? Is he the same guy that's been there, or
No, it's a
is
new
he new?
guy.
Yeah.
it's
Well,
it's Glenn's guy.
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
Glenn needs to have a chat.
that's the part that and that's the part that's a little frustrating. It's like a little defense would make a big difference.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It would have
yeah,
made a
I
big
think you're
difference
right.
in that game.
A little, yeah.
A little, because look, and
That would be
again, I'm
nice.
going back to that first drive. They looked good in that first drive, other than the guy putting the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
That he was going in for a touchdown, and he was on his way. And then in garbage time, I saw some good offensive line play. To get the score to 21. They if they could get a little defensive help. And I feel like this is the opposite of what we used to say. It's like, gee, if the offense could just like score some points, we could win.
Well, what do you think the morale boost is for the defense if the offense actually runs the ball down the field, and then makes some good plays? Maybe they get in the end zone, maybe they don't. Maybe they kick a field goal, they kick, score some points. What is the morale boost there with when the defense comes back out? But like every time when the
Yeah,
offense goes out, they try a couple of run plays, now they're 3rd and 13, and they throw some kind of stupid little screen, and now the defense is back on the field again, with nothing. I mean, that's demoralizing for those guys to have to keep going out and doing that. There's no, like, you know, like I was saying, there's no leadership on that team.
no
Like there
heart.
should be somebody on that sideline, getting in everybody's face to do better, right? All rally them around. And, I'm just not seeing that. And it shouldn't be the coach. It shouldn't be Aaron Glenn. It's got to be a player. Got to be somebody on the inside. Even if it's Nick Folk, if he puts his hot dog and his beer down for a minute and he riles everybody up, I mean you know,
Listen,
that's
if we're
that's what
if we're
lasts.
counting on 50-yard field goals from Nick Folk to stay in this thing.
Well, he was the MVP. He was MVP of the
Sure.
game for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he did what he was asked to do, right?
Yeah.
Keep the ball through the posts,
Although
right?
although now in the NFL as we know it now, 50 yards is like you should be able
Yeah,
to make that no problem. You know,
right.
that's the end of his range.
Well, Dean, you hit it before on the sideline. Nobody's getting in each other's face. Nobody. There was not like nothing. So this is just it's reminding them of the last regime,
Yeah.
right? Who was the coach? He stood there. He stood there, never made anything. Now, I mean, look at Glenn. Look at AG. He, I mean, staring. Just
Yeah.
like a couple of
In
times I see him get
disbelief.
pissed off, right? There was a couple of those, but not much. There was nothing else going on. Actually, you know what? It just popped into my head. Do you remember the scene when, after Wilson caught in the end zone, and then Aaron Glenn ran over to him, and Garrett took his helmet off, and he looked pissed off. Like what was that interaction? What was that exchange about?
Yeah, I
You
don't
know,
know.
and nobody talked about it. I didn't see anything about it, and it just popped in now because I was looking at them saying, "That's so odd." So is Glenn going over there to congratulate him, and he's like, "This is not a happy time." I don't know what that was about, but they were not on the same page when they were face to face.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
No.
No, not a good thing at all. No.
Because there's and it's and I'm also continuing to be baffled by the play calling.
Mhm.
A friend of mine reached out and he goes, how come they hired Justin Fields and handed him the Jared Goff playbook? And when Fields, I think he made some really good decisions. Now he used to kind of wait a little too long. I think he would kind of check down on his guys and wait too long and decide. And now if he sees an opening, he's gone, and I love it. It's like
Mhm.
I think he's got the maturity. He's still young enough to use his legs, but he's got the maturity to know when. And I just want to see them let him off the chain a little more.
Yeah,
They got him.
absolutely. I mean,
They got to
let
change
him
that
make
up.
some
Sure.
decisions. You know?
Yeah. I tell you what, I think, I'm still waiting. He mentioned the coaches. Remember, I meant this up last podcast. He mentioned there's going to be some coach conversations. Well, where are those? I want to
Yeah.
see it. You know,
Well, look, we're sitting at 0-4. with look, just by the numbers, we're the worst team in BAFC. We're the worst team in football. A defense that's not even showing up. That's appalling. And we're playing the Cowboys next week, which the Cowboys are better, I think, than people think they are. So I'm not really anything could happen, but I'm not really looking at that as a win. So this could be 0-5. You got to do something.
If I closed my eyes and threw a dart to try to pick if they're going to win or not, I guarantee the dart wouldn't make it over to the plus side. Even my eyes closed. It's just it'd be like a guided missile. It's just getting away from it. There's no way. I don't see it. I have zero confidence at all. So we'll wait for the predictions. But I have zero confidence in them. I don't care who they're playing.
Maybe this is the week they show up and they win. I don't know. The Cowboys actually have been looking. They're better than people gave them credit for, and they're starting to play a little bit better football, and that's
Well,
that's not
this
good.
is this against the Cowboys. This is an opportunity for the defense to really do something, especially the secondary, because Dak is no stranger to throwing interceptions, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, these good secondary people read him like an open book, easy. And this is an opportunity for some takeaways and to get the morale up, right? But who knows who's going to show up for that game? Is Sauce even going to come out? It's just going to be like, you know what? No, I'm taking a sick day. I don't even want to go out there. you know, but it's not the quarterback. It's not Justin Fields. He played his heart out. He did everything he could.
He's a gamer. I was
Yeah.
really on the fence about him, and now I'm because I was like, we got to keep Rodgers another season, and Fields may not be like elite quarterbacks, but man, he's got heart. He never stopped playing this on Monday
Right.
night. He
Yeah.
played all the way to the end. He really did.
I think they used Allen too much and Hall not enough. I don't think
Yeah.
they mixed those guys up enough. And even at that, they weren't really opening up any lanes for those guys to get through. Um, and again, I mean, one toss to Rucker, maybe two, at the most, and then a bunch to Taylor, which, is fine. That's good. He's the new hotshot rookie tight end,
Yeah.
and he's got good hands. But keep working that.
There's a
So,
couple of throws to Taylor. He was deep.
mhm.
Tight ends
Yeah.
don't have to go that deep, and it takes too long for them to go deep. Like again, that's play calling.
I don't get that. Tell you what I did really like though, and just Taylor's a good blocker too. I mean, I think
Mhm.
we all forget we all love the sexy tight ends who can get in there and catch the crossing route in the end zone. But the job is to block, and I think we've got some good blocking tight ends. But Brees Hall is a hell of a good receiver. God, that did you see that he made a crazy catch? For the one for the real. And man, he's just we just got to get the ball to him more, and we got to throw to him more.
Started out with that. How about unfortunately? How about that? Did you see that Allen's knee hit? Oof.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
that was
out.
not good.
He's
No,
out
that
for a
just
while.
that's knees aren't. The last time I checked, knees don't bend in that direction. You know.
Going back to the box score, Brees Hall 5 receptions for 30 yards,
Mhm.
averaging six yards a reception. We got to get him the ball more.
Mhm.
Well, we averaged. What was the first drive? Did we average eight? Was it 8 yards or something? That first drive, we were averaging eight every time we ran the ball.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could be wrong, but I think it was something like that.
Well, look,
Which
his rushing average for the day, he was 14 carries for 81 yards, 5.8 yards. That's Emmett Smith numbers.
you
So give him the ball.
know,
Run the
Run the
ball.
ball. Open up some lanes, or try some different things. Like they run him up the middle a lot, right? If they can't open up the middle, right, then let's try to open up the sides a little bit. Let's whatever,
Moves.
right?
Yeah.
Find the place, find the strong guys that can give him an inch, and you give him an inch, he's gonna be able to exploit that, right? He's a good runner.
It's look, and you just can't put the ball on the ground. This is a totally different game. Even if it's just one turnover, they could have recovered from the first one, but the three turnovers, you just you just can't win in the NFL that way.
How many
No,
penalty yards did they give away?
Well, look,
they-
let's talk about that. They give away 101 penalty yards, and there were a couple of, and I hate to be the non-call whiner guy, but you know, Justin Fields got tackled on 5 yards out of the sideline, no flag.
oh yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like at least protect our quarterback. That's kind of just an NFL given in any other game. And they protect Tua. They certainly protected Tua, but they didn't protect Justin Fields. And I think I think that's a double standard. I have to watch and see what happens there. But it's like he was on the sideline, and he
Yeah.
tackled him, and nothing.
While it was happening, we're like, flag, nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. He was like he was getting a drink and being tackled. That's how far out he was. And nothing, So that was a bad non-call. But 101 yards and penalties, that's same old Jets territory. And that's just three turnovers, 101 yards and penalties. You just can't win that way. And that goes back to that goes back to Aaron Glenn. I know Dean's ready for the players to be in each other's faces, but that goes back to the boss.
Yeah, that's like Baltimore Raven territory type stuff. But, like let those guys. They're penalty heavy teams, very aggressive. We like the penalties that we had were just they were silly penalties.
No, 100%.
You know, not penalties they shouldn't be making. These guys should know better. You know, and yeah, maybe some of them were just the refs just being extra picky, maybe or whatever on it instead of letting the guys play. But it was sloppy. It just doesn't look good, when there's every play there's a flag and it's against the Jets.
There was a
Every
delay of
time.
game in there, and I mean that's if I was a head coach, that would make me the craziest.
Mhm.
A delay of game penalty when you have timeouts.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah.
So we've spent 30 minutes saying the same thing 30 different ways. Sum it all up, it equals frustration.
Yeah.
You know, we sound like my neighborhood getting together complaining about the homeowners association. That's what we sound like.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. We really do. We really do. And what makes that frustration so much more is you watch that opening drive again, and it's just like, okay, we're getting the job. And it's not like they were geniuses. It's like we're getting the job done against a bad football team. Going to win the game you're supposed to win.
Win the
That's
games
all.
you're supposed to win.
That's all. And it looked good. Even after the coughed it up, I thought, man, they rolled all the way down the field on these guys.
Yeah.
Let's just
Yeah.
go do it again and make that right.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they just couldn't. I feel like they just came off the tracks
Yeah,
mentally.
right, exactly. It's like they got frustrated and they started making even more stupid plays, and doing more stupid things because they were frustrated. It's like this whole week at practice just needs to be just cleaning up deficiencies. Just cleaning up the play, cleaning up the you know yeah, they need to work on some new plays out of the playbook for sure. They definitely need to, come in with some new material. Uh, but that's got to be a big thing. It's like, let's clean this up. We can't give 100 yards away in penalties because that's a score. That
Yeah.
isn't. that's a score for the other team, and that's not good.
And we've got to do something on defense.
Right.
Anything.
Well,
Yeah.
where do you begin? All right. Okay. Defense, everybody over here, get in the room. All right. Where do you begin? What do you do?
I don't know. I
You
don't
You
know.
tell
say,
you
yeah,
tell
pick up your
everybody
playbook.
to turn to the person to their right and smack them, and then you start. You start
Is Quincy back? When's Quincy back?
I don't know. There wasn't a good. I don't even know about next week.
Yeah.
There's no answers. Yeah, again, my favorite player on the Jets defense. He's an emotional guy. He's a hard nosed guy, and he's just, I just like this guy, and we need him, and we missed him.
Yeah, he's the quarterback on defense. There's no question about it. There's no question about it. He's
Yeah.
smart, he's strong, he's fast.
Yeah, it brings the energy. Brings the energy they need.
And it really hurts. So we had no sacks at all
Where's Quincy? What's
against
going
the
on?
Dolphins.
If he's getting Quincy's getting quadruple teamed, where's the rest of the guys? Are they just watching?
Right.
Well, you know what? Yeah, if he's out there, he probably is. And I'm sure Sauce was, he can't do everything. And
Yeah,
Tua picked him apart. Tua picked them apart, which
yeah.
which those are words that I would not normally put together in a sentence.
He just got
No,
outplayed.
it's it's so hard to watch when the other team is there. Like you can see them on the verge. They're smiling. They're making plays. They're cracking up. Like
Yeah,
that's just heart wrenching to watch.
yeah. A game that I circled as a W on the
Yeah.
schedule.
Hmm.
That they're so bad, and their coach is 1 foot out the door, other foot on a banana peel. It's the crazy glasses and capri pants.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, looking forward. What does a 0-4, maybe 0-5 Jets? What do you do if you're Woody? What do you do?
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
cut.
you do the same old Jet thing and whack the coach and start all over again, and
Yeah,
then there's zero identity, and you killed the mentality of the whole season, right? Of every player. Uh, this is it's familiar territory.
right. I hope they don't do that. I mean, look,
Unfortunately,
we're getting into a part of the schedule where we've got some other bad teams to play, so we could win
yeah.
some games.
Well, you know, I don't know. It's like in business or in sales, everything's a numbers game, right? So you
Yeah,
say, okay, you're having a rough week, you're having a rough month, you're having a rough quarter, but if you consistently follow the numbers, it's going to flip. You're going to have, they're going to change if you have that mentality of playing by the numbers, right? Well, I don't know if this is the same for football. Can you know, Oh, so we figured they're gonna have 8 losses. Okay, let's just get them out of the way. I don't think it works that way,
yeah,
but
right. Well, look, I mean, Jimmy Johnson. We're watching the Jerry Jones Netflix documentary. Jimmy Johnson's first season, 1-15,
yeah,
with a good quarterback, you know, but nothing else. And then obviously that turned around very quickly. Um, I hope they ride it out. I do like Aaron Glenn. Um,
I don't
you know,
see them whacking him. He's sticking around for the season. I don't see that. Maybe a defensive coordinator might be,
Yeah.
he might be hung out to
right,
dry.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be that upset with that. But I would be upset if they got rid of Glenn because it would
Yeah,
just be another, throw it out the window thing. So no, I think he's okay for the season. We could talk
yeah.
about at the end of the season what the next future move is, but he's not going anywhere in my book. But uh, I wouldn't be surprised.
How many games does he have to win to stay?
Ooh, ooh. He's 4.
4, 5. Now this is a team. Now here's the killer. Let me just depress you a little more. How many smart NFL beat writers picked the Jets to be in the playoffs this year, to be fighting for a wild card? Almost all of them.
Wow.
I mean, looking at how deplorable the whole entire division is, it's still plausible. Not
Because he
going
says,
anywhere beyond that, but I mean, it's still not out of the realm. I think what they need to do is they really need to look at what plays have been their strengths, right? What have been their really strengths, right? If it's short yardage is where they're moving the ball the best, then they really need to look at that. They need to look at the playbook. They need to look at what they have in that realm, right? Or if it's going deep, then they need to add another wide receiver or whatever. They need to beef up protection to give Fields that time to get the ball deep. The offensive line, in my opinion, really just kind of failed. Just like the defense did. They did not open up holes. They did not move the around. They did not make a nice pocket for Fields. I mean,
They showed
went.
signs of life on that first drive, and
Mhm.
in the fourth quarter, they seemed like they got it together, but it was kind of garbage time by then.
I
yeah,
can't I can't imagine that Miami just bulked up enough to be that much better.
No, they're not.
To just run over the Jets offensive line. So something was amiss
Yeah.
there. Something was
well,
happening. Were they not on the same page with the play calls? Is there some goof ups there? You remember the
Yeah,
Rogers Hackett
the
thing,
Dolphins
and that
defense
took
did not.
so
It,
long.
the Dolphins defense did not wake up Monday morning and go, "We got it."
No, no, no. It's what is it? Where's everybody's headspace in
you know,
on this team?
I don't
Do
know.
they want to play? They want to play ball or
Yeah,
Well,
or not?
well, you can say. I mean, on the defensive side, as many missed tackles as they had,
yeah.
that just tell you their heads aren't in the game. They're not anticipating. They're just like everything is reactionary, and they're getting burned.
Yeah.
On one
Reactionary
of the rushing
tackling.
touchdowns for Miami, where they were in the red zone. A guy got hit 4 times
Mhm.
before he got into the end zone.
Yeah.
No
And he
tackles.
still
Got hit 4 times by 4 different guys.
Yeah, and he really didn't even stumble with any of those hits,
No,
right?
no,
It's
he
like
didn't.
one hit knocked him into the next guy. That hit knocked him into the next guy. It was kind of like a
He
pinball
just
game.
kept on
Yeah.
going. All right, prediction time. Gene, what do you think
Well,
is the Cowboys' home game at?
the Cowboys home game. I'm gonna
Well,
say
no, home
Cowboys.
game. It's home game for the Jets.
Oh, it's home for the Jets.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes,
Ah, well, boy, that still doesn't
I
change.
like how that's going to suddenly factor into your decision, but
I just did a quick calculation. No, didn't change anything.
let me run the numbers again. Yep, same.
Let's go. 17-27. The Lone Star Boys.
Okay, 17-27. All right, Dino. What's the spread on this game? 7.5?
No, I can't afford to gamble, so I don't know. Uh,
You
um, I'm gonna go Jets 24, Cowboys 18.
know what?
Wow.
Anthony's going to be at the game, right? Now, of course, he's not going to be at the game with me, but every game that Anthony and I have gone to, the Jets have won. So Anthony's going to be there. He's the charm. So, uh,
You know,
so going to be a Jets
I'm
victory.
impressed. I'm impressed. That's the positivity we needed on this episode of frustration. Vinny, are you going to keep the positivity going, or are you going to go
No.
down the dark hole like I did?
No, you know what? I am going to keep it going, and somebody knows something we don't know, and the spread on this game is 2.5 points.
Really?
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
much.
Wow.
and it's as low as 2. So, and it's very tepid. So I don't know. I'm going to say this is going to be a close one. I'm going 27-24. Your New York Jets
Nice.
All right.
I think if
winning
You know,
on a Nick Folk field goal.
the Jets can
I'm in
get
the chat
pressure,
telling them, can they just get him one size shirt bigger? Just because he's only kicking the ball, like just a size bigger, maybe. Good.
The ladies like Nick Folk in a tight shirt. Come on.
he just he just pulls out one of the
Jamie, Jamie,
shirts from one of the generations that he's been playing, one of the decades that he's been playing. He just goes to the closet and he asks his wife, "Which one should I wear to the game today?"
You look good
they
in
all
that tight
they all
one.
fit the same.
Put that tight one on. All right, guys. We will be watching. That's Sunday, right? Sunday. Right? That's
yes,
the
Sunday
early
1
game on
o'clock.
Sunday,
Yeah.
which I'm sure the national feed will not get. I mean, and really Monday night, who were those announcers? I think a girls' volleyball game didn't get called somewhere because those guys were doing the Jets game. I have no idea who those guys were.
No earthly idea who they
Just
were.
pulled them out of the stands. All right.
Yeah.
Who wants to be the play-by-play guy? You're in.
Nobody else is going to take it. This is like, no. Was back, they went back to the blindfolded dart room again. All right, listen. Boom. You got it.
Let's try this guy out, whoever he is. All right, guys. That is it for this episode of Third and Too Long, another Jets podcast. Anything we left out, Gene?
What's that? I couldn't hear. There's so much noise coming out of my wife with the neighbors over on the
Uh,
other. Yeah. So, what was the question?
and did we leave anything out of this podcast?
Well, I don't know other than it's the best chant in the NFL.
Jets. Jets. That is it. See you next time, everybody.
See you guys.
Okay, guys. Bye.
Bye.